Hey everybody, welcome to SwJ. Today we're picking up where we left off last time, adding another piece of denim onto my blanket project. So let's get into it. We can get on with the good world news. So, when I was young, growing up, we had Lego. We had very little Lego, and it was always gifts because we didn't have much growing up. And it was a lot of fun. You'd build all sorts of things. You'd have your little Lego guys running around, and it was great. And Lego's still around. And it is maturing, it would seem. Cheers. And apparently Lego is a Danish firm. I didn't know that. So the Danish firm is making its products more gender equal. They are trying to remove their gender bias. They're planning on adding a lot more female characters and a lot more female characters in all roles. You know, you'd have the little policemen, firemen, you know, all sorts of different Lego people. And so now they're going to have female representation in there. I didn't look into it to see if they were going to be doing any like male secretary Lego men kind of thing. Because I'm pretty sure they had secretary Lego women way back in the day. I don't know if they still make them or not. Or administrative assistant, I guess, these days. And the main thing they wanted to do is they didn't want any child to feel like they were playing with the wrong toy. If they're playing with Lego, it shouldn't matter. There should be no gender bias. They did did a poll. This was actually the Gina Davis Foundation or something for, I can't remember what it was, but a Gina Davis Foundation. Anyways, thought that was kind of interesting. Did a poll about kids playing with toys and found that there was a gender bias in Lego, and that some of the kids felt awkward playing with toys that were for another gender. And one thing that Lego is going to do, and I didn't realize that they actually did this, is they're no longer going to categorize their toys by made for gender. It would usually have either made for boys or made for girls, and yeah, I didn't know that was a thing even. Not apparently so. And now it is only going to be categorized by theme and age group. Intended for age kind of thing. And I guess having the word intended for is the main thing there, because you're not excluding anyone. It's just, this is who you had in mind. Our intentions were for this to be played with by 8+-year-olds. But if someone 8 or younger, like, ageism is a thing too. Like, you have to watch out for that too. You don't want to be ageist. Don't want to put an age bias on something. Because what if, if it's made for, and if it says specifically like made for children age 4 to 12 or whatever, what about the adults that want to play with it? Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that they make for kids that's a lot of fun. And, I don't have kids, so I gotta play with this stuff myself. Yeah. On similar stories, messed that up. Similar story, Mr. Potato Head will no longer be Mr. Potato Head. They're removing the Mr. I wonder if they're doing the same thing with the Mrs. Potato Head, because then there would just be potato heads. That'd probably be the way to go. I always thought it was fun when I was a kid, taking the Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head stuff. I don't think we had one. I think I just played with other people's. But taking the two and mixing and matching the male and female was fun. I don't know. I still want kids to know what boys and girls are. But you don't have to have it rammed down your throat every time you go to pick up a toy. Lost my train of thought there, so I'll move on. Sometimes I start down a rabbit hole in my own mind and suddenly think I should probably not share this. Now, what was I talking about? So, along similar lines again, Thomas the Tank Engine is planning to introduce more female trained characters, and also friends of Thomas the Tank Engine from a number of different races, different countries. So that's cool. And I guess we'll find out and see how it turns out when kids get older now, if it does actually make a difference for them that Thomas the Tank Engine had a female friend. see if that sort of thing actually does change lives, and only time will tell. Moving on, we've spoken about a 4-day work week a number of times in previous episodes, and continuing or follow up on that is that the UK is planning on starting their 4-day work week trial in a few months. It is actually slated and dated. And how it's going to work out is that it'll be the same pay for 4 days of work as you would get as for 5 days of work. And there are 30 or so companies that are going to participate in this, and it's all part of a big study by Oxford and Cambridge universities. The one big firm that was mentioned is Canon, the camera manufacturer. We're going to be participating in this, what could be groundbreaking survey or groundbreaking experiment trial. The 4-day work week, I know a lot of people would definitely be happier. I probably would still be employed, to be quite abrupt. One of the main reasons that I was having issues with my mental health is that I would just be exhausted, after a little while, and physically unable to get out of bed and do anything, really. And I was trying to work with my workplace about accommodation and a shorter work week, and they weren't having it. So yeah, doctor and I thought it best that I get out. Cheers. I think it'd be interesting if they would do a 4-day work week, but have it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then have your weekend staff as a Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. So you'd have your 4-day employees and your 3-day employees, and could still be balanced. You could still be operating. I may have missed my corner here a little bit. Might have some patching to do before I finish my sewing. That's okay. Nobody's perfect. It's not that important. Stopping doesn't get you anywhere. This whole blanket is going to be a little bit off and a little bit lumpy and whatever, so, you know, I'm not too worried about it. And that's the thing, I know there's a lot of like really fine stitching and sewing, and people who are really into sewing probably watch me and go, my goodness, what is this hack doing? I don't care. I just want to sew. I just want to make the stuff that I wear usable and make it live longer and not have to buy more things. Okay, I'm going to tie off there so I have something left to tie into on the next piece that I'm going to have to put in there. I knew this was going to happen sometime. It was going entirely too perfectly. So a couple of my recent ones are a little off, and that's okay. And that is okay. No rationale even, it's just okay. No because, no whatever, and that's okay. And sometimes I forget if people are listening to me. Sometimes I forget people are listening to me, and my voice just climbs right up into my throat again. I much prefer my voice different than that. Sorry to focus on it. I'm more calm when I talk like this. So I try to just chill, because when I get all excited and, you know, the voice changes and then crawls up my throat, and then I start stumbling over myself, and just need to take it slow and easy and just chill. And I'll also notice that when I'm bent over, when I work a little too much, the voice starts to go, so it's a posture reminder as well. We've spoken during previous episodes about coral reef and reef systems coming back, and in related news, not one coming back, but they discovered a new one. There is a new coral reef found off Tahiti, and they hadn't found it earlier because it's a deeper coral reef. It's in the 30 meters plus deep range, so much less susceptible to temperature changes and what happens to all the other coral reefs, which is bleaching, and they just basically burn out, get too warm, and die. So now that they've found this one deeper reef, they are searching for more, because where there are one, often there are more. Cheers. And that's really good news, because the coral reef systems are really indicative of planet health, and really help the planet, consuming carbon. So yeah, it's a good sign. If there are more reefs out there, more hope for the planet, basically. Just, you know, anything that pulls carbon out of the air. If there's more coral reefs, then we don't have to have factories running to pull carbon out of the air, like we discussed in another episode. And there's one story I read that I thought was really cool, because a lot of the times there are a lot of good people out there willing to share and willing to meet people and be friends, and just, you know, there are good people out there. And anytime you can bring those people together, it's a good thing. And an app as simple as connecting people who have things, who want to lend things out, connecting those people to people who don't have things, who need to borrow things. And the app is called Borrow. And I think it's fabulous, because I don't mind lending out my things, you know, and if there's an app, that I'm sure there's a way of tracking stuff. You'll likely take a photo of whatever it is you're borrowing when you receive it, and or the lender, I guess, would take the picture when he's lending it out, and then to ensure that it's in the same shape when you get it back, you know, got your photos, and then you can rate people borrowing, and, you know, leave reviews, I'm sure, and all sorts of things. And if you can connect with some really good people, and, you know, could save you buying, you know, a multi-$1,000 tool to do one job, and then you've got this new tool there just in case you need it, which is awesome. But you know, not everybody can afford to do that, and you could probably get a lot more done if you could borrow the right tool from someone. And you know, the main thing there is going to be the respect. You know, you don't abuse someone else's tools, and a lot of people don't keep that in mind. And that's where the rating and review system would come in. It's like, you know, this guy abuses tools, you know, and lent him 3 things, all 3 came back broken, and he said they were all broken when he got them. And the pictures obviously show they weren't. So 0 stars, do not lend. You know, and also the other way around. You know, if you get a tool that's has a break in it, you can fix it and you use it and bring it back in better condition than it was, or bring it back with more blades or something, you know, because you're not going to need it again, so you may as well give the guy the blades, but like specialty blades or whatever. If you're cutting, let's say you needed a saw and you needed to cut stainless or whatever, you get special blades. And you're not going to need it again, so, and since you're not buying the tool, you can afford to do that. And it's a little more incentive for the person doing the lending out, you know. I wanted to start doing something like this for the antique motorcycle club that we're in, and I started, and I just never got past the beginning stage. I need to look and see if there's an app that I can modify to make work like this. I was thinking just an Excel spreadsheet. I guess that's probably showing my age these days. Learn to write web pages in HTML 1.0. Don't do that anymore. It was a very short-lived gig. Now I've done a number of things throughout my life, like a lot of different things, and you know, you just learn from everything, you know. I guess something like that could even cross over into the world of clothing. You know, it's like, hey, I need a suit for an interview. I can't afford to buy one. Can I borrow one from someone? You know, people that don't have anything can at least have something to wear for a day. Bring it back to the guy, hey, thanks very much, you know, interview went well or went crappy, and away you go. Or for stuff like even weddings, you know, lend out your old wedding dress. Or bridesmaid dresses. Even just clothes, like some clothes are super expensive. Like say you want to, like if you're a lady and you want to impress a date or a dude, whatever, like there's some super pricey shirt or like a designer blouse, or you know, whatever brand name shirt, you know, that you want to impress your date with. Hey man, can I borrow a shirt? And you know, some rich dude that's got 50 of them can go on there and say, yeah man, here, you know, borrow whatever clothes you want, come on in. And you know, why not? First world problems, right? I don't have the right brand, the right style of shirt to wear. Oh no. Says the guy wearing the $100 skate God, sweater. What's the right word? I always lose my words. Declining cognitive function. Now this Borrow app is how do they say it? They say it's part of, or the Borrow app is part of a bigger app, which is called the Olio, O-L-I-O app, and that app connects people with excess food with people who are in need of food. I think that's fantastic because there's so much food waste. And if you can even just go on there and say, hey guys, I've got a bowl full of oranges that I'm not going to finish. You know, some of them are starting to go already. Come down and take them. And you know, somebody in the community a few streets over with nothing to feed their kids can come over and pick up these oranges, and then they've got oranges. Keep them from the scurvy, yar. And there's one thing I saw, there was a sign on the door of a 7-Eleven somewhere, no idea. But it said that we know that a lot of people rely on school lunches and breakfasts for their meals. So kids can come in and pick up free pizza and a drink on the store. So 7-Eleven giving back to the community. No idea where that was, but whoever that owner is, good on you. That's massive. And I think in times like these, we need to look to the big corporations, the big companies, to help people. You know, they've made their fortunes over the years, and why not even out the money gap, the financial disparity in the world? At least help people that can't eat, you know. Just do what you can for others. And the other thing with that Olio app, there's a lot of times when, if you have a garden or fruit trees or anything like that, when you just have way too much food that you can handle, and it's all going to just rot if someone doesn't use it. So this way you can just post up on there and say, hey, I have an apple tree that's dropping apples, come on down, this is my address, please don't drive on my lawn, that kind of thing. And then people can come and harvest and make whatever it is they make, and yeah, it can be a great thing. Community is just helping each other, that's the way it was when I grew up, you know what I mean? You had a garden, you would take whatever excess you had, put together little boxes of food and bring it around to the people that you knew needed it or would appreciate it, or even just your neighbors, just to spread it around. And it was just the way it was, and now there's a lot of mistrust. There's a lot of people that, wouldn't believe if someone said, hey, I've got a bunch of free food, come get it, because there's been a lot of bad people over the years ruining things for everyone. And if we can get back to where people can trust people, I think that'd be a huge thing. Like, I think the general population has lost trust in general population. And that's not a good thing. It's like most of us would never think of poisoning Halloween candy, and yet someone out there decided to take it upon themselves. Who knows how many times it's happened over the years, but those stories get out, and then suddenly you can't trust anyone. You can't trust your neighbors anymore. And that's a huge thing, because you're supposed to love your neighbors, and trust is a huge part of love. Oh, like, what was the zombie movie where the security guys in the mall were sitting in the mall lockdown and going through the what was it, most important things in a relationship, trust being number one. Stuff like that, apps like that, initiatives like that, people like that are going to change the world for the better. And that's exciting and world changing. Well, tie and cut, or cut some ties, or I'm not sure which way that goes. Pull some pins on this episode. And yeah, just want to say thanks very much for joining me. I do really appreciate the time we get to spend together. We'll do a quick reveal, see how crooked this one is. I think it actually went in fairly crooked. Let's see. Pull that one up, but leave it nearby so that it marks where I need to go back and pin that little hole. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. So another reason to use the big, deep blanket stitch, because then if it's not perfectly straight, it can just move a little bit. Tighten where it needs to. Tends to work out. Yeah, this blanket's really coming along. It's about the right height, I think, maybe a little longer, but this layer of width, and then yeah, pretty good. I am gonna have to distract myself with some jeans. The other pair needs a little bit of a touch up, and these ones are getting to the point that I'm starting to slide things into here rather than into my pocket. So I have to do some touch ups there. See how that all goes. But yeah, again, thanks for joining me. Till next time, keep chillin'. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.